Guys, thank you so much for joining. This is the post show Q&A for Chasing Nostalgia. If you're here right now and you didn't watch it yet, then you might want to go watch it first because we're going to talk about probably stuff that happened during the show. So, first of all, thanks everyone that watched it. And I want to introduce my guests. So I've got Jeff, aka Arcade Hollywood, who was featured in the episode.
What's up, everybody?
And then I got Mason Conrad. You could define Mason as editor, director, probably producer too. Probably all of those things.
I got a lot of name tags.
Yeah, Mason did a great job.
Thumbnail guy too. Yeah. So Jeff, first off, I'm on a high right now of how amazing the turnout was for the show, but I don't know if people realize like how long we were at your house. Like we were at your house for over 11 hours, right?
Oh yeah, it was a long film shoot, but we had fun. It was literally as soon as they got out of the car, we started rolling cameras. So
yeah, it's funny. Actually, I just want to make a note real quick. Once you got out of Barncade, you walked over to Ralph. I literally got out before I even said hi to you. I said, "Can we please just redo that real quick?" Just so people, if there's anybody that thinks that's nothing, it's all legit. Just so
the thing is, that is probably the only moment that we had to redo was the intro because we were both so excited and we just busted out of the car and everything else was just raw.
Back, just say hi again.
Yeah, and what's real about that though is Mason went in the barn first in that shot where you see Ralph enter the barn. That's real. The real deal. That's the original shot. So there was no retakes on that one. So,
and you know how hard that was for me to know that because he came back out and I could see it on his face that I knew that I was going to be really excited about it.
I walked in, I think I was like, oh my gosh, or something. And you're like, what? You know?
And Jeff was kind of like, I had only seen little shots of Barncade. That's it. Like, I didn't realize the magnitude of what I was going to walk into when I walked in there. And man, Jeff, your collection is so good. And first of all, the collection is amazing. But then your hospitality on top of that was so great. Like the snack breaks and the food. And it was awesome.
That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. And they don't know that we actually had a couple adult beverages during the shoot. And yep.
Well, I mean, I guess they did know that. It was actually in the video. Yeah, it was in the video.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, we're probably going to get sued by Budweiser because you actually have a close-up of Budweiser.
I got a Bud Tapper, though. It's part of the arcade lore.
That's true. We're licensed by Budweiser. But
and I'm not a big drinker. It called for Budweiser that day. It just did. It was hot, too. It was like 90 degrees.
It was 90 degrees, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but so the cicada bugs were all over the place, and you can hear it when Jeff and I are on the patio in that last scene. You can hear them in the background pretty loud. But there's a scene that we didn't capture there, and when you're finished with your beer at Jeff's house, you gotta crumble it up. And then you throw it on the front lawn.
You gotta crush it and slam it, just like that.
Throw it.
It's funny, we were sitting there. Before I actually realized that was your thing, Jeff, I remember Ralph did that. And I'm like, dude, have some courtesy. Like,
I know. You said that to me like I did something rude. I go, no, he said to do it.
And then he did it. I was like,
that's how we roll here, Barncade.
I was like, do you not realize how great have Jeff's been today? Like, you're throwing stuff in his yard, and I was really confused. It's funny.
That's the way it goes. And that happened. Like, I have fantasy football every year. This will be our 24th season. So, my longtime friends, when you crush a beer, we just pitch it in the yard. So, we pick it up before Trisha gets back home. So it's all good. Shh.
By the way, I have to say this. Because of the way it was edited and the way you guys saw it in the final product. We had finished snack break. So we had started snack break late because Jeff and I were going on and we just kept rolling. It was like nonstop.
I was so hungry by the time.
And Mason was like, "This is great. Just keep doing what you guys are doing." We were just riffing back and forth. And then his wife, so we did snack break, and then we come back in, and his wife comes in with a pizza, and she's like, "I'm sure you guys are hungry by now." And I would say we all ate about 10 of those little sandwiches at this point. So
those were so good.
I was gonna say, whenever we were first in the kitchen, I had like 12 of it had to be like 9. But like through the whole time after we finished our main portions of them, I kept eating them. Y'all were talking. I was sitting there snacking, petting your dogs.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at some of the chat here. I didn't want to forget people talking. Brad O'Connell asked, "Are the bugs? The bugs were crazy when Ralph got here. They were in their peak, so they were everywhere. So the cicadas, they're gone now. So."
Jeff, I tried really hard to make myself not seem like a little baby with the bugs, but I was totally freaked out. I'm just letting you know.
They won't hurt you. And I like a little, your video does show a little bit. If you pinch their wings, not hurt them, you can like pick them up and they'll fly off. So I had some compassion for the bugs, for the cicadas.
Yeah. There was that one in Barncade.
Someone else asked Jeff where the pizza was from because he's from Ohio. So my family who watches the show, he's from Ohio. He lives there. I think he's from there, but he's asking where the pizza was from. Oh, that's right. It was Costco.
Yeah, that was good though. That's my first time ever trying it.
It was good. I wanted to get into a couple of things that we talked about at the beginning of the episode that we didn't deep dive it because we had so many other things to talk about. But the collection is amazing. And, you have all these great games, but keeping them running is a challenge, right? I mean, it's a total challenge keeping them running. So, like, maybe talk just for a second about some of the, like, tips and tricks, like FPGA and some things like that, like ways you've got around getting them and keeping them running,
Well, originally, I was a purist. And when I say purist, I like to keep them all dedicated. But I've been collecting since '89 and restoring, but it just really gets difficult with some of the Williams games are real tough to keep running. Todd Tuckey would tell you differently, but they have the resources to always fix them. So FPGA is a really great option right now to keep your games going. It's not a slide on anybody collecting of any kind, but I really like the FPGA stuff. It's just real solid. And what I'll do is I'll make a custom wiring harness so they don't harm any of the wires, or I don't even hack. I don't take the boards out. I leave everything intact, and I just kind of divert the boards. So I try to keep them dedicated because if I want to return them to dedicated, I can. Yeah. So everything's got their original stuff in it.
And I feel like though I feel like the FPGA, that whole movement with FPGA, I feel like people are like, there's a huge difference in my mind, at least. Someone doing an FPGA versus some other form of emulation. It seems like that's because it's recreating the hardware logic in the in the technology. I feel like it's like a better way to do it, right?
And I'm looking like Dragon Gamer says, why not just use emulation? There's a real big difference.
Yeah.
Some of the games are emulated really good, but the FPGA that J-Rock does is outstanding. He takes things to another level with the hardware and the audio. The audio is a big deal. So if you can, FPGA offers a really good solution for audio, not just the video part.
So Paul had a question for you. He said, what do you do if you can't get the board working? Do you send it out to someone?
I do. I will. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I can fix them if I'm lucky, but generally there's a couple of great people out there that'll fix boards. Eldorado Games is one. And then there's a lot of other collectors out there that can help you out. So if you get on the, some of the news groups and some of the Facebook pages, you can actually find a lot of people to help you. There's some, and Todd Tuckey's a great resource. He's got people that can help you too. So they're out there, right?
And Todd says, I suggest you buy extra boards. Sometimes you can combine two to make one. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, in the episode, I told you I don't even have a Cinestar yet, but I'm gonna get one. I'm on the look to find one. I'm gonna find one, and when I do,
Ralph,
I want to keep it original.
Todd's right. Yeah. Like a lot of times we'll piece stuff together. So
putting parts from other boards.
Like same with a lot of parts. So we'll just kind of like piece stuff together. My microphone and my camera are jiggling.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I had a Street Fighter 2 on the Fritz, and the Street Fighter 2 has an A board and a B board, and I actually just I took one of the good known A boards and put it on top, and there you go. So yeah, I mean, part of it, that's always a good strategy to have extra boards. The thing is right now, Jeff, that I'm concerned about is the price of PCBs is going through the roof, like everything.
It's kind of the nature of the beast. Todd says some collectors specialize in certain board repairs, which is true. So like I said, getting to know people is huge. Like it's like this is a social collecting video games and pinball is totally social. You got to just know, the more people you know, the better. Tech Junkie says, why not? Is Daytona doesn't have an FPGA, a real
That'd be
FPGA
awesome if it
solution,
did.
but that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if it did. So Todd, or whoever's, I'm assuming it's Todd behind the TNT. It could be anyone there, but he says, I specialize in eating pizza.
It's Todd. So, he likes to go. He goes to Pizza Hut. He likes to go to Pizza Hut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Pizza Hut used to have arcade games back in the day.
Yeah. Pac-Man.
Yes, Nick, we can see you, buddy. I can see the chats on all the channels. So I know I have it streaming to a couple different places, but I can get it all. So
we definitely want to try to talk to everybody. I see Scott out there, Retro Pug. So Zookeeper is rare. Brad wants to know what my 3 favorite games are. Well, I know one of them is Centipede. Centipede is one of my all-time favorites, and it's not rare by any stretch. Asteroids is one of my favorites, and then probably number 3 would probably be Tron. I play Tron a lot. It's a tough question.
It is,
Brad. That's a tough question, Brad.
It's such a tough question, right? Because I think we were talking a lot about it when I was there, and it's like you have so many great games that it's hard to pinpoint one as a favorite, right? Like you have so many good ones.
They're all great in their own way.
So I got this a couple times. Everyone keeps asking APB. Like, have you ever had an APB? Have you had one?
I never had one, but I love APB. That's a great game.
I'm actually surprised you don't have one.
Well, I had a chance at one about 4 years ago. I just passed on it. I just didn't get it. It's a really great game. You can't have them all unless you're Todd. Todd Tucky can have them all.
Yeah, exactly. Dragon Gamer is a collector of he watches the channel quite often.
Well,
he collects really very, very rare and almost obscure arcade games. So his question is, what would you consider the rarest arcade machines?
Well, there's some really rare ones. There's a really bizarre pinball game that actually was in a Williams cabinet. It's called Varcon. They only made 90 of those. Stuff like that. Like Reactor's rare. Discitron's rare. There's some really great cinematronic games. Oh gosh, the vector games are getting pretty rare. There's quite a few rare ones out there. I think Warrior. There's a game called Warrior by Cinematronics. It's a vector like sword game. That's very rare. Gosh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
a lot of rare ones.
And you have a lot of rare ones yourself.
I got some good ones. I got Journey's very rare. I've got the Reactor. Oh, let's see what else we got hiding back here. I don't think Zookeeper's mega rare, but
Jeff,
Solar Fox is very rare.
Jeff, you know the urban legend of Polybius, right?
I do.
Yeah, so he said, have you ever seen a Polybius?
No. I think Todd Tucky has one. Todd.
Does he have? But so like, wasn't there someone that made a game, like made an actual game and then released it? Because I know there was some show where someone showed up with a Polybius and it had a game on it. I don't know what that game was, but
I know Todd Tucky had a film crew come in, and I'm referencing Todd a lot, but I do a lot of stuff with Todd. I know Todd did a video that they had Polybius in it. I think a YouTuber did that, like a popular one.
Yeah, it was Angry Video Game Nerd did a video on.
He was pretty. Wait, I'm looking at some of these comments.
So Nick,
what's the best story of a game that you got?
Yeah, well, I like this question.
I would say the best story, which was a sad story, is a fellow collector passed away from cancer, and his wife got stuck with 90 games. This guy had 90 games in his collection.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up, I helped her out, and then I ended up with a couple of games from his collection. So to me, that's a good story because these games will live on here. One of them's Moon Patrol and the other one's Crazy Climber. So that's a good story, I think. There's so many. Every game seems to have a story, though, you know?
It's how collecting goes, man.
Yeah.
There's another great question by Paul. I didn't get to ask you this question. I think this question's awesome. He says,
that's a great question.
What games do you want for your collection that you currently don't own?
There's two. I want everybody wants a Major Havoc. I've never got a Major Havoc. I've got a motherboard for Major Havoc. I don't have the game, and I've always wanted an iRobot. I kind of blew it about 10 years ago getting one, and I regret it. So iRobot is so high on my list for sure.
You know, Jeff, when I was at your place, it was interesting because I'm more of a 90s, late 80s collector of arcade games. And when I saw, it was so weird. Two things at your place that just completely blew my mind is I'm in love with Baby Pac. I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. I need to own one, and I know they're expensive right now. And we'll get back to Baby Pac in a minute, but it was weird, Jeff. When I went to your Road Blasters, I had so many memories. I don't remember where I used to play it, but all I know is I used to love that game, and I kind of forgot about it. And when I played it on the real cabinet with the real controls, and I love that freaking game. I need to have one. Like you inspired me to get my first Atari System 1 cabinet. I love that game.
Well, you're on your way according to your messages. So that silly little amplifier is a big deal. That's really hard to find in them.
Yeah.
The MTU board's hard to get.
Yeah, so for those of you that, so the Atari System 1 is really neat, and actually I'm going to do a video on it here soon, but Jeff has a lot of great videos on his channel on it, but the thing that made the Atari System 1 so unique is that it had cartridges, but they weren't really cartridges, it was like these big boards, but they would plug in to change the game. And so I think you have a Marble Madness, you have a Road Blasters. Do you have one more System 1? Or is it just those two? I can't remember.
Just those two.
Yeah.
Ralph, there's a question here from Michael. He says, which of your games gives you the hardest time?
Oh, that's a good one.
Star Wars. The Atari Star Wars is a pain. It's a big pain.
Is it running right now? I can't remember. No, it's not.
It's been down for 10 years.
What usually fails on that one? I can't remember.
My Star Wars has been down for 10 years. It's embarrassing.
What's the biggest problem with that board, though? Like, what is it actually? What about that machine?
It's really not the boards as much. It's got an Amplifone monitor in it, and that one they're designed poorly, and it's just really hard to keep those running. Gravatar's another one. So Space Duel, Tempest. They're really hard to keep running so far. And then I want to throw my Daytona. My Daytona USA has been very hard to keep running.
Told me.
It's been down more than I've had it. Oh,
Brad loves your shirt, by the way.
I got my Cobra Kai.
So let's shift gears a little bit to the actual filming of the episode, because I feel like, can you believe? I mean, we did 11 hours. There's a bunch of footage. I mean, Mason, there's a lot of footage that you had to go through to make that happen. But was there anything from an editing standpoint that you wish you put in that you didn't put in, or do you think there's enough footage to come up with like a lost scenes kind of thing? Or
that's a good idea.
Definitely, I think if you pay attention to the layout from the drone B-roll, pay attention to the episode of what actually went down in the viewer's perspective, you see that we focused a lot on the left side, like the left half. There's B-roll from everywhere, but my point is, we kind of did circle around a little bit. We do have some parts that I didn't include because, like, honestly, so the editing is just a monster in itself, aside from filming. But at day 5 or 6, I'm like, please, I just want to get this done, you know? So it's like sometimes in that mode, I get so like zoned out on it. I just, you know, maybe this would be better fit with a more awakened mind on that project some other time. You know, that way I'm more like in focus and ready to do something with it. But we do have more that, you know, could probably be used in something extra.
Yeah. I mean, we filmed for so long, and it was funny because
we even filmed that morning too before we even went there. But that's even in the video.
Yeah, I can't believe how fast it went by.
Little Everett wants Todd to click on his yodeling channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send that to you to send to Todd. There's like a yodeling channel that he has. So
I know Todd's out there. Click on the yodeling channel.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. But there was just so much footage, and the funny thing is can you honestly, Jeff? There was a time where I was like, because I don't know if you guys realize this. So Jeff put out a video that was on his Namco football that you can kind of see in the background of your right shoulder, and that was already like 10 o'clock at night when we went to that, and we were really tired, but it was such like, I don't know, I had such adrenaline being at your place. We were all excited. It was just I don't know how I could have more fun than I had at your house. Like we just, it was a blast for I think all of us. Like Mason was on cloud 9 because Jeff, you have a lot of like awesome camera stuff. So it was just overall really cool. I can't say enough about how awesome the experience was.
So Ralph, I'm looking at Matt's comment about the pins and EPT Cyclone. First of all, we do have, I don't know if Mason can answer this question. We didn't really talk about pinball a whole lot. I have a bunch of, let's see, I got 6 pinball machines, but I actually, I was really lucky to work with the Pinball Expo for a while, and I played just about everything. And then I have a pinball guru up the road from me. It's Trent Augenstein. He actually is one of the largest Stern dealers in the world, so I have access. So, and then your other comment asked, "Is there a pinball machine you want?" And it's definitely Deadpool. I want Deadpool from Stern Pro.
Oh my gosh, Jeff, this wasn't in the episode. Tell him about your trade, your no fear trade, because to me that's like to me I can't even believe that someone would want to trade that, because we played it but we didn't put it on camera. I don't think
there was a guy close to me that saw I had a no fear for sale, and he offered me a trade for no fear, and it was my Star Wars Pro. I got a Star Wars Pro. I gave him some cash to even it out, and he just loved the no fear, so I thought that was a cool thing. And I played the no fear, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to give this one. I don't want to give this up, but because the Williams games are kind of hard to. They're really they're not hard to get, but they're really desirable. Versus, there's a lot of pinball like collectors that collect the '90s Williams and Bally games. So I have an Attack from Mars, which is a really great game.
Oh my gosh,
but
I
yeah,
love that game.
Grateful to have that Star Wars Pro Stern. We play it constantly. People that don't play pinball and play video games play that one, hands down. That gets played a lot.
Yeah,
and it's cool.
I loved. We didn't focus as much on the pinball. We did play with. I remember I played a little bit with your Star Wars, and then your other Star Wars was out of commission at the moment. But that's a really cool one too. I know
it went down a week before you got here. I had it working great. It's called the Pinball 2000. It's actually a hybrid, kind of the precursor to the new Jersey Jack and the Sterns, but the motherboard crashed on it. It's a Pinball 2000, and so I'm trying to piece it together. I got a good friend of mine, Mike Bear, and one of his friends, Brian, who does pinball stuff. They're going to try to help me get the new core system installed on a regular PC. So once those go down, that's tricky. That's Revenge from Mars, and that's Star Wars Episode 1. So tough stuff.
Paul has a really good question, and we kind of touched on this when we were on the patio scene in the episode. But how will collectors answer the shortage issue of CRT monitors in the future?
It's going to be hard because, first of all, you either have to have a very good friend that fixes monitors. Like thank God I got Mike Bear. He's been helping me fix monitors. I get aggravated with it, and I just have a short fuse with fixing monitors. After all these years, it's just a pain. I'm not complaining. I'm grateful to have the games, but the monitor problem is real. It's going to be a problem going forward.
Jeff, the crazy thing is this question was about monitors, and I sold a machine to a friend who lives about 15 minutes from here. We moved it, and this happens all the time. You know this stuff with arcade machines. We moved it from my house to his house. Gets there, and now the monitor chassis is just blowing fuses, and we can't figure out why. We look, there's no shorts, there's no anything. So now I'm on the hunt to go, all right, well, because now we have a decision to make. He wants to play the game, so I got to get him a working chassis so we can replace it. So we went today, and we went to this guy's house, and he had two 25-inch monitors. We bought both of them. I brought them back to my house before he brought them back. We tested them both. One worked, one didn't. So it was like, now we have to like piece together a working monitor, you know.
You got to do what you got to do.
It's actually Rudy Roundhouse. He's in the chat.
Michael said Mike Bear is a great guy. Mike Bear is a really good guy. He has been a big help. Plus, he's just a really good guy. We do a lot of arcade stuff, so thumbs up to Mike Bear.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think it'd be interesting. So your monitors are a challenge, but what do you think the solution is? Because there was a comment. So Todd made a comment during the live stream that there's been authorization to start back up production of CRTs. Was he joking about that? I had never heard that.
I never heard that either. I need to follow up with Todd because if that's true,
amazing.
Somebody needs to do it. So I'm like,
Heck
Justin
yeah.
says OLED with BFI and using retro. I'll have to try that one. The OLED monitors look pretty cool. They have a really, I don't know, but like I said, with this hobby, you just can't replace a CRT. It's tough.
And we talked about that. We recorded that last scene that you guys saw with Jeff and I on the patio. We recorded it once and we just talked Jeff and I both don't have any problem talking.
No. That's Mason. Mason will tell you.
So him and I talked forever. And one of the things we talked a lot about was the CRT thing. And I told him, I said, there's this product that Capcom made and it was called the Retro Station. And what they did is they put an LCD and they have scanline software and they put this cover over it, which makes it have the curvature of a CRT. It's not perfect, but it's something. And I was thinking to myself, like, why hasn't someone been able to, because my problem is I don't like the LCDs because they don't look like CRTs. So if you could just, I can't believe in 2021 we can't make an LCD look almost identical to a CRT. I don't know why we can't. I don't know. I thought we have the technology. We built the Bionic Man. I mean, can't we? We figure it out?
All in your comments. Yeah, it would be so cool if somebody came, like maybe even come up with something that was, a one solution thing where it's not just a CRT, but it would actually work on vectors too. Because
oh my gosh,
the vector thing is really tricky.
Because I don't think I'd have a problem with it if it could totally reproduce it. Like I didn't know the difference, like kind of like FPGAs do, right? If I didn't know the difference, I'd probably be okay with it. But CRTs just have that glow and the scan, everything about it looks so, it's iconic. Like you can't, I don't know, it's so hard to look at a machine that someone did an LCD mod and it kills me almost inside a little bit.
It's tough. But hey, I mean, ultimately, it's about playing the games too. So, if you can keep a game working, that's a good thing too. It's not, there's no if you want to keep your game working, there's always a couple ways to do it. And then the other thing is the Vision Pros still make an LCD with a 4:3 aspect ratio. That's the other big problem is you just can't slap a 16:9, LED or LCD monitor. That really looks bad. So the key is to get those 4:3 monitors. I know Dell still has them floating out there. That's a 20-inch monitor, but Arcade Shop, Mike's Arcade, I think they had a fire over the last couple of months or a month ago. We talked about that, but Mike's Arcade has some really good adapters that go on their LCDs for the Nintendo games. And the Nintendo monitor, the Sanyo EZ monitors are also, not impossible to keep running, but they can become a pain when they go down because there's a lot of things on those that become problematic.
Yeah. So I wanted to get to this one comment from Diego, and then I want to ask Mason a question. I'm gonna actually, he doesn't know I'm gonna ask him it, but it's not anything crazy. But okay. So Diego says, would you buy an Arcade 1-Up or any of these new remake products for your Barncade, or would that mess with the nostalgia feeling? What's your stance on these new arcade units coming out?
I saw a fellow friend and collector, Arcade Jason's video where he smashed a centipede. I don't feel that way. I think Jason was just doing it for effect.
Yeah.
I really like the Arcade 1-Ups because I think it's a great entry level into the world of arcade. I think it's cool. I think they're really neat. And my friend Scott Seamuller, who is Retro Pug out there, he is a huge collector. He's a huge collector. He's got a huge retro collection,
both, right?
Pinball. He has a 1-Up. So
yeah,
why not? I think they're great for people that want to keep the nostalgia alive. I think, and they're a great little gateway to maybe getting into the real thing, like you did.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, it's one of those things where I've been trying so hard. And some people like Nick in the chat, I think it's Nick Madsen. We talk a lot, and he went from the 1-ups to. It's interesting because I feel like when you get into a hobby, no matter what the hobby is, there's always aspects of the hobby. It's all right. I'm happy at stage 1, and then there's stage 1 through stage 5, whatever it is. And when they get it, some people want more. And I feel like if you're already tinkering and exploring with emulation and building PCs, then you already feel comfortable with the electronics aspect of it. So I think it's how much do you want to challenge yourself.
And
I'm telling you, Jeff, I learn something new every day in this hobby.
Every day.
Every day.
And then Todd Tuckey said something here. He says that they sold arcade 1-up people on Atari Star Wars. So it sounds like Todd had their Star Wars stuff. They helped make the Star Wars 1-up.
Yeah.
Which I like the Star Wars 1-up. That was pretty cool.
They actually did a really good job.
And
All
I
right,
really...
so Mason.
I think that I think the person that started this comment, this thread, would you own one in the barn? Yeah, I probably would. I think a Star Wars would be cool, and I think that the NBA Jam was cool. I would. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So Mason, I want to shift gears to you.
Up?
So what was it like? This is definitely like we've worked together on other projects. This was by far the biggest project. So what was this like? This is huge. This is way different. I mean, 30 minutes, 11 hours of footage.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
Well, the thing is with us, we've gone way back. So 2019, around then, like early that year, we met. And it's crazy just for one that it snowballed into this so far. I'm so excited to see where the future takes it because obviously you and I are really good friends now. And it's like great to work with you always. But it's just crazy because there's so much that we did that weekend even that a lot of people didn't see on film. They saw a very bare minimum split of the bat situation. It's terrifying. But it's like we have a lot of extra stuff on video that's not even in the cut. So like,
by the way, Jeff, really quick, so Mason has a friend and I was talking to my wife and we told them about the bat. Both of them were just like, why didn't you just like go back in the room? Like, bat's not going to hurt you. So Mason and I were terrified. Like,
we were terrified.
Someone was going to murder us. Like the bat was going to kill us.
No.
So, and
the bats are more afraid of you.
You had to say that to him out loud, Ralph.
I feel a little less of a man because of that, but I'm okay to admit it. The bat
23.
me the hell out,
I still have time to develop. So we're good on my side.
They won't hurt you, I promise.
So no, but anyway, so like there's a lot of stuff that happened. So that day even I got up early to film extra from that loft, from getting ready, from everything. And there's a lot that we, but we got to kind of actually hang out a little bit this time. Last other projects we worked on, it hasn't really been that way all the time. But I do think it's awesome because we bounce ideas back and forth like no other, I think. And I think that really just helps with the end product. And it's like, it's only up from here, man. Like it's going to
and the other thing I think is so cool is this whole process was the first episode. It was very dynamic. Like Jeff had input. We were all like working together. And there were times where Jeff's like, wait a minute. Like I have this or that we could use for this shot. And we did that, and actually that's funny. Jeff, do you remember the scene where, Mason's kind of up high with the camera and he's like, don't move the stool. And everyone listened to Mason except for me. I moved the stool.
Yeah, so I'm like, just a quick story. I'm like elevated right here with my camera just to get the, it's a shot overhead of the Barncade. I told them to move around. It's like with the B-roll, boom, boom, boom.
Don't touch
boom,
anything,
boom.
yeah.
So I literally said to Ralph, thank you, Brad. Thank you so much. I said to Ralph, literally like, just don't touch anything. Y'all are walking around doing your thing. And I'm like, remember not to touch anything. We're getting there. We're almost done. And Ralph's like, what? I said, don't touch anything. You're like, okay. So you move the stool. And I'm like, dude, like this has been going on for 10 minutes. And now we have to, but it was funny though, but it's just crazy. So that's a cool idea.
We have two super chats. Hobby Hand says we need to film the show in 4:3 aspect ratio. Thank you for the super chat. It's a very cool idea.
Wait, Ralph and Mason, can I cut to a little like 10-second video of Todd? I have a very it's never been seen. It's Todd Tuckey talking to Doc Mack at Galloping Ghost. Can I cut to it real quick?
Yeah, let me just do this one super chat and we can go right to it.
Sorry.
Oscar said, great choice of Arcade Hollywood for your first episode. One of YouTube's hidden gems. Visit TMT, Galloping Ghost, John's Arcade, and Vintage Arcade Gal. And I'm binge watching. Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate that.
I've heard of the Vintage Arcade Gal is pretty cool too. And Doc Mack and Todd, of course. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. All right, what did you wanted to share something?
Real quick, this is just for Todd. Todd's never seen this clip. This is Doc Mack stepping on him. So let's see if I got this right clip in here. Hold on. Here it is.
Oh, that's awesome. Why does Doc's foot look so big? Is it big? That's awesome.
I never released the movie. I have a movie from the 2019 Pinball Expo, and the pandemic happened, and then I shifted to working on the virtual expo. So I never showed that clip to anybody. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was kind of fun.
That's awesome. So Jeff, from your perspective, what was your, what do you think was the most, what did you have the most fun with when we filmed this? What was the most, because we had a lot of moments. We did a lot of different things. What was the most fun for you? This sounds sappy, but I think making a connection with you and Mason was my favorite part, because it's always fun to connect with somebody in the hobby. And we just had fun. I mean, we connected right off the bat, and I think it just felt like I've known you guys forever. So we had fun talking about the games. We had fun eating food.
Yeah.
Well, and you didn't know that Mason and I both love dogs, so we were loving on your dogs. Your dogs were a big part of it. One
of them made it in the video for 2 seconds.
That's Jack, my golden. Yeah.
But there's an awesome scene, and you'll have to tell us, Jeff, which dog it was. But we didn't get it on film, I don't think, but I think Mason got a picture of it. So we had all 8, including the dogs. So the dogs had 8, and we had 8, and we came back. And one of your dogs just sat there on the couch with the bowl in its mouth.
Oh, that's Jack.
I don't know why it was so freaking funny. I
Jack,
couldn't stop laughing.
I might have let me see if I have a picture of it real quick. I took one.
My golden retriever. He's real sweet. He just wanted your attention. He wanted you to know he was there.
I loved your dogs. We were having so much, and that whole part, the food, and we were talking for a while. I just feel like it was a whole day of hanging out. It was like my perfect day. I mean, outside of stuff I do with my wife, it was my perfect guys hangout day I could have possibly ever had. It was awesome, and I hope that translated in the video.
And to let your audience know, we're definitely working on a part 2 here, because I think there's a lot of other people I wanted to share. There's so many things here in Columbus to do, arcade and pinball wise. So I definitely want to have RetroRalph back and Mason just to hang out too.
Actually, I'm coming over in a couple weeks.
Yeah, Mason and I are going to do an After Effects session. We're going to do some After Effects.
Yeah,
should we do an Arcade Hollywood on the road? We go visit. I go back there and we go on the road. We'll go visit some other people, right?
I really want to go to the Texas Pinball Festival in March of 2022. Somebody says, has Jeff ever been to Grinkers? No, I never got to go to Grinkers. I think that was John's Arcade that did the Grinkers stuff, and I never made it out that way. It would have been cool.
I want to show this real quick. This is the picture of the dog. But he wasn't holding the bowl yet.
Oh my gosh!
They were so sweet, man.
Our poor living room needs paint.
Your dogs were so sweet, though. They would do this thing. Which dog is it that does the butt wiggle thing when you're not petting it?
That's Nard. That's Benny. Benny, he comes at you sideways.
Flirts with you, kinda.
Yeah, he comes at you sideways.
That was so fun. All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
The chat's cool. It's like we got all kinds of stuff going on in chat, and it's just neat to see the chat. So I'm trying to answer and talk to everybody. It's hard. Yes, the Las Vegas Pinball Hall of Fame is very cool. They just reopened that. They moved to a brand new spot. So
I think we do need to add Vegas to the list, Ralph.
Jeff, would you ever meet us at the Pinball Hall of Fame?
Oh, we need to do that. I love Vegas.
What if we go out there together?
Let's do it. Count it done.
It's close to me, and Mason's never been to Vegas, so he's all about that.
I might be able to talk.
We talked about
and I might be able to talk. Tim Arnold is the one that runs that and owns it, so I might be able to talk to a few people in the pinball world, and maybe they'll give us the red carpet there, because that would be cool. Yeah, Tim Arnold's good for. He does a lot of stuff for the Pinball Expo and the pinball community, so I might be able to like see if we can make that happen.
That would be,
and I'm
amazing.
sure they would like. I'm sure they would like the attention for the new location too. So,
oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I think we need to do that.
We got to do it. Yeah, we got to do that.
All right, we got to make that happen. That is amazing. And they have arcade games too. They got pinball and arcade games at the new location. They had it at the old location too, but I think they upped their arcade game collection quite a bit too at the new place. So, and there's another YouTuber that's out in Vegas who I really like a lot. His name's The Rexer Show, and he said when we were out there, he would be a part of it too. He's a really good guy. Yeah, he's my he's trying to convince me to stop painting my arcade cabinets and use laminate on my arcade cabinets, which I think he's onto something there, because painting's a nightmare. But
you know what? That's a good segue, because you could actually laminate your Road Blasters cabinet. I think that is a good segue into talking about your Road Blasters, because my good friend Warren in Cleveland, he actually he does some incredible stuff with his cabinets, and he actually showed me what he did with his Atari System 1s, and he put this really great laminate on it. Looks really good. And then does he laminate? Does he put the laminate and then he puts the artwork over it? He puts the Atari artwork. He does. He actually and you know what? Rich at This Old Game has this really neat full. You've seen the blue Atari System 1 side art, which is the normal. That's the actual cabinet one, but they've been making this custom Road Blasters, Marble Madness, and Indiana Jones, like the beautiful artwork. So Rich at This Old Game has some pretty cool artwork options for the Atari System 1 cabinet. So does, I think Phoenix Arcade does too. There's a couple of really good ones out there. Yeah. So Todd doesn't even know this, I don't think. But do you know? I'm trying to. Jeff inspired me to get a Road Blasters, and I'm trying to piece it together. And so I won a cabinet at auction that's an Atari System 1, but it was a Roadrunner without the boards in it, and I needed a control panel. And I don't even know if I told you this, Jeff, but I went to eBay, and Todd was selling a Road Blasters control panel. I don't even know if he realizes this. I bought the Road Blasters control panel from Todd, and it's actually in great shape. So I'm almost there. I'm like, I have the main board, I have the PCB. It'll happen, but I'm going to need your help on that one, buddy. Do you have a foot pedal? I might have a foot pedal for you. I have a foot pedal, too. I got that, too. So we're almost there. You're almost there.
I was just told to use caution when we're in Vegas now.
I saw that. It says,
wait, why?
Stay away from Rhino Pinball.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, you know? That's how it goes, right?
What's Rhino Pinball?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. It says new location was not surveyed right. I hope they don't have problems.
Oh, where'd you hear that? Uh-oh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
Mike Davis said, just finished the episode. Great stuff. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Totally appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to figure out.
David said he was there in May. Said it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's so close to me, Jeff, but I would hold out. If you'd be willing to meet up there, I would hold out and not go till you could.
I'll go. Trust me. I love Vegas.
That'd be so fun.
I don't even like to gamble. I just like Vegas.
And then we can go down. Oh my gosh, go ahead, Ralph.
What?
Go ahead.
What?
No, I was gonna say like Vegas, like just the topic itself. Like we could go to casinos. We can get all the B-roll. I'm so excited.
Dude. Matthew Cox says, I hope to never see arcades die. I can tell you,
they're not going to die.
I'm an older guy, and I've been doing this for a long time. They will never die.
No, they're never going to die. I will not let it die. I will never let it die, too. I
can't get it out of my system.
I'm doing this till I'm old and gray. I'm gonna take if you ever pass the torch, I'm ready to accept the torch. So
you've already taken the torch. I think it's good.
I'm gonna take it high with pride.
Ralph's like, I'll take the torch and your plentiful Barncade.
And if you want to give up any of your arcades, I'll take those too. No, I'm just kidding. There was something I was gonna say, and I totally forgot. I totally lost my train of thought. I don't know what it was.
Talking about Vegas a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know what it was now.
There's so many great people in this hobby. I think, like I said, I think the big takeaway from both pinball and the arcade hobby, there's just so great to the social side of it's so great because you meet all these great people and they might have a part for you or they might know somebody that can fix your game, but also it's just fun.
I think it's crazy because, like I'm just kind of the video editing guy, whatever. But like slowly, as I've worked with Ralph, I've slowly kind of gotten a little more interested in this kind of stuff, just to kind of see people's passion for it. Like that's my favorite part of it, seeing how invested people are into it. And it's like, my point is though, like you said, people that know people, and it's like there's so many retro, just fans in general, like all around here. And it's like, who knew Ohio? Like this was an hour away from me,
Dude,
it's crazy. It's everywhere.
Mason,
whoa, hold on. Todd has one of the prototype baby Pac-Mans. He
does.
What?
It's like a mini version. Yeah.
No way.
Wow.
I thought there was only 1 or 2 of those made. How many of those actually were made?
Not many. I bet you 10. I think Todd said 10 of them.
Oh my gosh, that is a machine. I am sorry, Jeff, but when you I love that game. So
Baby Pac is so good.
There's someone in the community. His name is Mark Twig. He contacted me and he's like, have you ever played, this is a while ago, he said, have you ever played Baby Pac-Man? And I had never played it. And I don't know, I just had never played it. I don't know when it came out, but I probably was only like 2 or 3 years old. So I went to this other guy's house, David Sullivan, who lives in Tucson, and he had one. And I played it for the first time and I fell in love with it. So when you had one, it's awesome.
And, in a story is it was broken. So when you asked me in a text, you said, Jeff, do you have Baby Pac? I said, yeah. So I really scrambled to get that working. I got it. I mean, lucky I got it. It's hard to keep running. But once you do a couple things to it, it'll run for a while. It just had some design issues. Ralph, real quick, I saw a good collector friend of mine out there, Christopher. No, Christopher, I don't have solar here. And then also he asked Christopher Wells Graham. He's awesome. He does a lot of virtual pinball actually. So Christopher's a great guy.
Oh, cool.
He asked another question out there. I'm just trying to answer questions.
Let's get to that one. Let me just do this one super chat really quick.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're not. Nick said, man. Great show, Ralph, Mason, and Jeff. Thanks again, Ralph, for your advice and help on the CRT. That was giving me trouble. No problem, Nick. Nick's a really close friend of the show, and he's become a friend offline. And he's going full bore into he's one of those people that went from 1-up to real arcade machines. He loves them, and he's so passionate about it. He puts a lot of attention to detail into it, and so he kind of says that I inspired him, but I feel like he inspires me because he's gone so deep into the hobby so fast. It's really cool to see, actually.
Okay, so this is for Nick. Nick, this is for you. How many games do you have, and what's your favorite game?
Oh, that's a good question. We'll see. So while he's waiting to answer that, what was
Jeff
the other
threw in that
comment
reverse Uno card?
I'm going to reverse it.
I like that.
Wait, Ralph, you know what? Real quick, I'm going to cut to a camera angle. I think in your one thing, we jumped into filming so quick that I didn't turn my games on, and I'm like, man. So let me go to a camera angle, and I've got the games turned on for everybody out there just to see. So that's one of my shots. Not everything's working, but I got as many games on as I could for your show tonight. And then let's see, I got another camera angle. This is another angle hiding over there. I got my Robotron, Tron, Sinistar, Punch Out. Oh, it's going to.
By the way, I played your Punch Out for a while. We didn't get that on camera.
What a great game.
That Punch Out. Yeah.
What a great game. Hello?
No, we're here. We're here. I'm seeing if Nick responded. I don't know. He might have left. I don't see his response, but maybe he's thinking about it. That's a tough question. You just asked him a loaded question. Like, what's your favorite? Caught him off guard,
Ralph.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really overwhelmed with the community response. And you said something, when I asked you what was your favorite part, I just think that, this is Nick's wife. And she said, we need a Barncade so Nick can add to the collection. So see, she's a very supportive wife. That is very cool.
Mandy, you are wise.
I feel like you would need one of those in this hobby.
wait,
Trisha got the house back. Trust me.
Wait,
you just said Mandy's wise, right?
He's wise. Yeah. He needs a Barncade.
So this is Nick's response to you. He says, I have 2 Mortal Kombat cabinets running 2 games in each. Street Fighter Hyper Fighting, Captain America and the Avengers, and Killer Instinct 2. My favorite game so far is my Mortal Kombat collection. So
Nice.
Nick's definitely a 90s gamer. He likes all those 90s games, which is something I want to talk about real quick. So Jeff, I am mostly, my time in the arcade was 90s. And the interesting thing is that I played 80s games because those games weren't gone from my arcade in my town. And when I went to your house, it just like reinvigorated me that I'm like, wow, I'm so focused on the 90s stuff. Why am I forgetting about the 80s stuff? Your house gave me the Barncade gave me this. It reinvigorated me on all these games. Some of them that I had never played before, like Solar Fox. I know was glitching out a little bit, but I did play it a little bit, and I was like, man, Solar Fox is awesome. And then
It's fun.
yeah, there's that one other game that I had never played. That
Bosconian.
Yeah, Bosconian is awesome too. And I'm like, man, and Reactor's just ridiculously
really
hard,
cool.
but really fun games. And I just feel like I'm inspired to add more of those 80s classics that I really enjoy into my collection just from your visit. So it was really cool.
Somebody said, oh, it's Chris. Chris said, Jeff just texted me. He said his favorite game is Gal's Panic 3. Chris.
No, that's a naughty game.
Chris.
By the way, this is the game I can't say the name of. I say Rootin' Tootin' Kitten Kabootin', but it's really Tootin' Con.
Team Tuck got a video game. That was a Stern game, and it's a great game. I actually I've played it a bunch of times, but my friend Scott bought one, and during the pandemic, I helped him move it in his basement, and I started playing. I'm like, I gotta have it. And then like back in March, I saw one here in Columbus for a really good price, so I snagged it.
Oh,
that was fun.
How did you get the Tutankhamun anyway?
That one I got from a collector in Columbus that was just starting to sell his collection off. It was totally just random. I got it for $800. So, and that's generally like a $1,200 game, you know, give or take whatever you're willing to pay for it. But that one's really hard to get, and it's a really fun game.
Yeah,
love
no,
that
for
game.
Sure. Reset Rudy has an interesting question. He said, am I okay to plug my arcade machine into a power strip to turn it on and off easier?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
You want to do that. You don't.
Yep.
You definitely want to do that. You want to have it on a power strip for sure. For sure.
We got a comment from Eternia Arcade, and they said, great show, guys. Hello from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. That's really cool, actually.
Greetings, Canada.
Yeah, greetings, Canada. Oh, this guy's picking up a Capcom Big Blue cabinet for $300. Oh, that's cool. A really good deal,
that's a
actually.
Deal.
Yeah, that's a really good deal.
Somebody else asked a question out there. They asked if my Disc of Tron was working yet. It is. It's working, but I got to piece it together. And I'm going to put LED lights in the very back of the game to make it more energy efficient, because it's got like 4 fluorescent lamps in there. So I'm going to put LED lights in there and make them. It's still going to look beautiful, but that game's going to look really pretty. It's got that beautiful glass back on it. It's a really great game.
Anyone that so this was a scene that was a little cut from the episode. So when we were doing our table talk and we were talking about all your rare games, Discs of Tron was one of those rare games. And I had asked you, you know, why did they cut them? And you answered that question, but it didn't make the episode. And it was because you can't get them into your house easily. So a lot of times the people would cut them in half, and then you just have to like reattach it once you get it where it goes. But how do you plan to reattach that?
Ralph, if you cut it right, there's right where the back half is, where the entryway is, there's a little metal spacer in there. If you cut it right, it'll split there. But man, that stinks that a lot of collectors have to do that. Mine's split in half, so I'm working on some solutions to piece it back together.
Someone asked,
it has WKRP in Cincinnati. It has one black light, and it's right where the control panel is. So it's got one.
Let's see. Mason, I think Lewis brought this up earlier, but more B-roll coming. I think you took B-roll for hours. So
yeah, B-roll is a good chunk of my time filming. Actually, I think while you guys were hanging out, I was around doing some B-roll stuff. But I mean, I think I need to do a little more extra for next time. I think definitely enhances the end product overall. But we're going crazy with the next time, man. We did good this time, but this time, like I said, we're going up.
So Dreamcast Kyle actually lives in Canada, and he's been looking for, he said, just finished watching the episode. Amazing work, everybody. Really enjoyed it. Now, he's a 1UP fan, and he's trying to buy his first arcade, but he's finding his arcade machine, and he's finding out that buying an arcade machine in Canada is really difficult. He's been contacting me all the time, and he's like, every time he tries to find something, either the price is really high or there's just not a lot. And I don't know why that is. I don't know, Jeff, if you've ever talked to anybody else in Canada, but he's having a hard time. He's kind of on the east coast of Canada, but he's having a hard time finding something. But he wants to buy his first real arcade cabinet. He just hasn't found one yet.
They're tough. It's just tough to get games out of the country. There's just so many games here. Europe seems to have a lot of games that they ship over. But Canada, I don't really know where he would get games in Canada. They got to be there somewhere.
Actually, it's interesting. So WKRP Cincinnati says, Kyle is near me. It's slim pickings for cabinets up there, I guess. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I'm just looking at some of the other comments. Like GT Beakerman says, I love the darker look of Barncade. I painted it like a darker gray. And then somebody asked if I'm going to add lights in here. Yes. Ralph and Mason are one of my second visitors. And I really haven't had a chance to put all the finishing touches on. I have posters that I have going up, and then I'm going to have some atmosphere lights that are going to go around the top. So there's quite a few things to finish in here, but the sky's the limit.
Yeah, because we didn't even get a chance to I don't remember where you said it was, but you said you have all of this artwork and stuff like that you want to put on the walls, but I think that's in your house, in your basement, maybe? Yeah,
I got some cool I got some really neat promotional posters. I have a really sweet Tron movie poster. I have Journey album covers from Frontiers and Escape that's going to go up, and then I got a bunch of arcade stuff that I'm going to put up. It's just that's actually harder than you think. Like where you're going to put, like how you do it right. And then I got a couple of Pinball Expo banners that Rob Burke gave me that I'm going to put up to kind of honor my time with the Expo crew.
So Paul has had a lot of really great questions tonight, and he said, Jeff, will Barncade be a business venture or remain a personal collection?
Personal collection. I don't think I could ever do this as a business. It would be brutal. The games would break. I have trouble keeping them working now, and I don't even keep them on a lot. So it would that would be hard. I remember my friend Terry Cheney, who had an arcade in Cincinnati. He had the place Retro Arcade. He got out of it quickly because he was just kind of struggling with fixing games.
Mike Lebinsky had a question. He said, any redemption stuff like claw machines?
Owen wants one, but that's not happening.
So actually, speaking of Owen, there's a really cool scene that I don't know if you filmed it or if Mason filmed it of your son playing Baby Pac. And I was like there with him, kind of like cheering him on, and it was awesome. I had so much fun. Like he was getting pumped up.
We both filmed it, and actually, here's a shameless plug. My next episode is going to be Ralph is part of the Baby Pac episode where I'm actually highlighting my mod of adding All-Tech boards. So Ralph's in that episode again, and Mason's in it, and I'm going to tap into some of Mason's footage because really we filmed so much for Chasing Nostalgia that I just really didn't film a lot for my channel, which is like that's my bad. I really didn't film a lot of stuff, and we were just so busy. I think if we had a couple of days, it would have been
There's
different.
Not enough hours in the day, man.
It just went so fast.
It does. It really flew by. Once we got there, just over.
I know, it was so crazy. I remember leaving in the car, and Mason and I got home, and I'm going, oh my gosh, it's like almost midnight. And it was nuts. Because when you said we're gonna film the Namco episode, I'm like, oh, we'll have plenty of time. And then sure enough, we look at it's 10 o'clock and we're filming it. Yeah, it was nuts how quickly it went by, and it was so much fun.
The Fist of Love, the link, there should be a link in Ralph's channel. Like I think if you look at like my channel should be linked to one of Ralph's videos, or
yeah,
I'm out there. You can't miss it. It's Arcade Hollywood. You'll see the like my Space Invaders icon thing.
If you go to Fist of Love, if you go to my channel and you go to the channels section, if you scroll down, it'll say channels I love to watch, and Arcade Hollywood's in that channel. But I'm also gonna, after all of this, I'm gonna put. I didn't actually put links to Jeff's channel at first because I didn't want everyone to know who the guest was gonna be, even though the picture was there. I was being a little secretive, so I'm gonna put all of the links to Jeff's the Arcade Hollywood channel.
And I watch a lot of Ralph's. I watch all of Ralph's live feeds, and I didn't want to comment in there because I didn't want to give it away. So
yeah,
not that a lot of people know my channel, but I kind of kept it low.
I remember you texted me last week when Ralph was live. You're like, "Hey, I'm in the chat. I'm just not gonna say anything."
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to because we did a good job of keeping it quiet.
Yeah,
we did. Oh man! All right, well, we're coming up in the hour mark. Is there anything
that was quick?
I know. Is there anything that you want to just tell everyone, or actually, real quick before I do that, are there any last minute questions for Jeff or Mason that you want to ask? Throw them in the chat. We'll try to get to those. But Jeff, from your perspective, is there anything that maybe we didn't cover or that wasn't in the episode or wasn't seen that you want to just talk about? Or
well, I think you guys covered a lot of stuff. I think that you might see more of the Road Blaster stuff from Ralph. I think he fell in love with the game, and actually, while we were taking a little film break, Ralph was rocking out Road Blaster. So somewhere Mason's got some extra footage, and I think I'd like to sneak some of that onto the Baby Pack episode next time, just to show a little bit more Ralph. But I think, we had so much fun. It was a blast. It was an honor to have you guys out.
Oh my gosh, it was an honor to be
Pleasure
there.
was ours, man. It was great.
I loved seeing you. There's a scene in there that we only captured a little bit, but you're playing pole position and you go, "I still got it." I remember, I think it was on the drive. I can't remember when it was, but I went to Mason and I was like, "Man, I must suck at pole position," because Jeff was rocking it. You knew all the tricks of pole position, and I was like, "Damn, Jeff's freaking really good at."
There's some secrets on that one. There's some secrets.
I remember you were playing it, and I looked over at Ralph, and I kind of was like, "Geez, he's really being rough with it. He knows what he's doing."
You got to be rough with that one hard curve. You got to shift it hard and kick it.
I would have thought we're actually in a car together or something. That's awesome.
You were aggressive on that, but I'm like, man, I play it so wussy. I'm like, maybe I need to just be a little more aggressive on pole position.
And
that was awesome.
Real quick, Ralph, on the pole position, actually my board is broken, so I was playing the pole position pie board. So
I know it worked really good. I played it for a second. I was like,
I got it working real good.
And you said there's some wheel things, right? It takes a little while to dial it in with the wheel.
It is. You got to dial it in, and there's an actual Facebook page that actually people help you out. The designer of that game wants me to not promote that with his name just for safety reasons, but he's really big in the hobby. Arcade Jason. Did I say that out loud? Jason's the one that came up with that, and gosh, that's such a great game.
So Brian says Adam from One Circuit is working on an FPGA for pole position. Did you know?
I know he is, and I want that so bad because that is a huge, that's one of my all-time favorite games, and it's just really, there's the battery acid that drips on that board. Just what a bad design, and that game is really hard to keep running. So, and also pole position takes 2 power supplies, 2 AR2 boards, so that's also another point of failure. So yes, I want that pole position. I want that pole position FPGA. But yeah, check out the Pi version of pole position. It's pretty cool. Yeah, anything to keep a game alive, it's legit. That's real.
Yeah, and you actually you didn't tip me off to this exactly, but I kind of left your house and I was all inspired to check out some other things. And I had heard of High Score Saves before, but because I bought their shoot, what was it called? But you basically put it on a Capcom CPS2 board and you can load up all the CPS2 stuff. So I had bought that, but I didn't realize there was for the Nintendo versus Unisystem. So let's say you have a Nintendo, a Popeye or whatever it is, or not a Popeye. Popeye wasn't versus Unisystem, right?
No.
So whatever, if you had any of the versus boards, you could buy on High Score Saves this board that you just move your connectors right over to it, and it adds a Pi. You know, it's a Pi and it's using the CRT. And I wouldn't necessarily encourage someone to just do that as a replacement, but if your machine died or if you wanted to just switch them over from time to time. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I basically turned my versus Goonies into a Play Choice 10 because I had the option to do that. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should do that on a working board, but I was curious to play with it, and I was surprised at how well it was implemented from High Score Saves. So kind of just one of those neat things like, oh, Darksoft. Exactly. Thanks, Brian.
Oh, yeah, Darksoft. You know what? High Score Saves is really coming up with some good stuff out there, especially the High Score Saves kits for some of the boards. So thumbs up.
Yeah, neat stuff.
An arcade shop is another go-to place. I get a lot of parts from Stephen Gregory down there in Georgia. He's been in the business forever to keep these games going. Even like when I first started, he got up and running. And I think when I really started kicking things in '96, he was out there, and that's where you got your stuff to fix games. There's some other ones out there too, like Phoenix Arcade, and if I'm leaving somebody out, I apologize. There's so many great ones.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. I felt bad when Mike's Arcade had that fire. That was not a good thing. But it sounds like they're bouncing back, which is good, and the community's supporting them.
Paradise Arcade Shop is another one that Chris said, yeah.
How to Bachelor with a super chat. He says, Ralphaholic for life. Been watching all while on Tinder for hours. Bachelorettes need servicing. Okay, he's a single guy. He's on the dating apps. You just wanted to say hello, I guess. No,
hey,
right. He's a good friend of the show.
I like Vic's comment. Yeah, I've had to pee for about an hour.
I know I have too. I'm ready to.
And I did a little beer too, so that's like once the seal's broken, you guys know that's the story.
I know. All right, so we gotta wrap up soon. It's okay. We're very vocal on this show, so we gotta wrap up now. So like, what, Jeff? Any final departing words? And I have a couple, but do you have any? Jeff first, and then Mason, and then I have a couple things. But
my parting words is I am so grateful to RetroRalph and Mason. I think this show was so great, and I can't wait to see what else he does out there. And I also watch the show a lot. My friend Scott got me turned on to it over a year ago, so I've been a fan of RetroRalph for a while, so keep up the good work, Ralph.
Thanks,
and I
buddy.
think everybody in chat will agree.
Appreciate that. Mason?
All right. I'm going to try to keep this short for you. Basically, just for everybody watching, I know we've kind of sat here for a minute and just talked about all of the episodes and stuff and just the Barncade and all that. But if you were able to sit through the entire thing, I sincerely hope you enjoyed every second. I think a lot more heart went into this than previous projects we've ever worked on, Ralph, easily. It's just great to be able to see the progression of what you're doing, and I'm psyched to be along for the ride. So thank you to everybody watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so I think my parting words would be that number one, I gotta talk about Mason really quick, but he's been a part of the channel for a while, just kind of behind the scenes, doing like some basic things at first.
Finally
it was just like
crawling out of the shadows.
Yeah, it was just like thumbnails and stuff like that. And then when I started thinking about these bigger projects, I didn't really know how deep into the video editing aspects Mason was, and I knew I couldn't tackle a project that big by myself, just time and everything. And so like involving Mason's been so awesome, and he's starting to like really pick up a lot of the retro arcade stuff, which is really neat. And yeah, we've become really good friends in the process, which is really awesome. And then Jeff and I were texting back and forth, but had never really spoken on the phone. We actually hadn't even spoken on the phone up until the point that I met him in real life, which was kind of weird.
I think it was the most organic interaction, though. Like we all hit it off straight from the get-go.
I didn't talk to Jeff. No Zoom meetings, anything until that absolute meeting, which was really cool, but kind of scary that you didn't know, like I could have been a psycho or you could have been a psycho, but we didn't know. So, but you ended up being awesome and it was great. So
I don't think we could have had a better first episode.
No, it's going to be really, Jeff, honestly, it's going to be really tough to beat because number one, I feel like we've become close friends because of this. You were such an awesome host, but your son, your wife, you made Mason and I both feel so at home. So it's truly, you captured the essence of what I wanted this show to be. I wanted it to seem like basically, hey, I show up and we're just hanging out because we have a love and a passion for arcade gaming, and we're going to share that together. And I feel like that's what it was, but that's what it actually is. So it was awesome. I'm like so stoked. I'm on cloud 9 right now, and I hope that I can stay this way for the whole rest of the weekend.
You will, and that's a good thing, Ralph. It's now that we've gotten to work together on stuff. I definitely hope to work with you and Mason on other stuff. So there's so many adventures out there for arcade stuff.
Big world, man. Yep.
Absolutely. All right,
so many
guys,
games to fix too.
I know. Talk about it. My whole garage is a nightmare right now, but we'll talk about that another time. I'll be texting you, Jeff. I need help on that System 1 stuff.
There's plenty of people we can help. We can do it.
All right, everyone. I just want to say thank you once again for number 1, supporting the show, watching the show, all of your comments. You've been super interactive, all the super chats. Yeah, on behalf of everyone here, thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully we'll have another episode for you here, not in short order, but yeah, the outpouring of support's been amazing. So thank you so much.
And thanks to everybody in chat and everybody that watched, because you're the reason why this hobby's great.
Yep, absolutely. And go subscribe. Go check out check out Arcade Hollywood's YouTube channel. Just search for it, Arcade Hollywood. His production is off the charts.
Crazy.
Awesome, amazing. It's so good. And I feel like your sub count should reflect the hard work that you put in. So definitely go check it out. And if you're a fan of the hobby and you loved this show and what we talked about tonight, you're gonna absolutely love his channel. So go check that out. That's it. All right.
Thank you.
And guys, we will see you on the next one. All right, everybody. Take care.
You guys.